All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Apostle Sean. I'm back with another episode of the business class. Today I wanna specialize on teaching people how to make it after giving, how to improve, how to grow, how to be productive. The reason why I came up with this one, it is because I have noticed that plenty people have understood about giving. They have learned a lot about giving and they are practicing giving. You can really see it here. This person is a giver by the heart because he understood or she understood the teaching. So as a result, I found it necessary for me to give a teaching to help people to know how they can actually take advantage or be on the advantage side with the blessings of God. It won't make sense, it won't even make a single sense to benefit much or to try to benefit much from the information that I'm going to give in this sermon without you having to listen to the part one. So what you will do, you will listen to the whole of it, then you ask for part one in the groups, then people who have will send, or I will also send. Because the foundation and the build-up of this message, the most important part is in the first teaching, the part one of business class. So now, last time when I spoke about the importance of giving, the importance of tithing, sacrifices, and so forth, the main thing was you have to create your spiritual account, because everything that you can have on this earth, if you are going to do a business and you are going to be successful in it, if you are going to sell anything and people are going to buy, it is because it's approved in the spirit. There is a bank somewhere in the spirit where everything comes from. So the first thing that a business person or a person who wants to be successful when it comes to the finances, the first thing that the person must have is a spiritual account. In the book of Philippians chapter 4, there is a verse which says, I am not asking you, I am not talking about the giving that you did because I want to receive more gifts. But I am telling you so that you can also benefit from the benefits that comes with giving, so it can be accredited to your account. Paul was not speaking about a physical bank account in FNB, Capitec, or Nedbank or whatsoever. He was talking about a spiritual account, a moment whereby the heavens releases into a spiritual account of a person, so that when you go to do it physically, you are taking it somewhere from the spirit. So plenty of you have managed to acquire that. Your spiritual accounts are full. The tithes that you have given, the sacrifices that you have done, the poor people that you have helped, all those kind of things that you did for people, your family that you are taking care of, your parents and whatsoever. All those things have managed to create something in your account. As I'm telling you right now, there is something in the spirit for you. That is why you see there are some other people who are suffering here physically, but when they dream driving cars, they dream having a house, they dream having a wedding, they dream having a husband, They dream having everything that they don't have physically, but in a dream, life is good. It's a symbolism. It's not only a symbolism, it's yourself who is now getting into the spiritual realm, getting to understand what you have. But people don't understand, Manjut. How do you materialize everything that is in the spirit to the physical? So today I want to show you something. I want to show you a mystery that you need to understand. These things are understood well by people of the spirit. So we want to take our reading from the book of 1 Kings. That's 1 Kings chapter 18 verse 41. 1 Kings chapter 18 verse 41. I'll read it here and you also write it down, then you go through it. And it says, and Elijah said to Ahab, go eat and drink, for there is the sound of heavy rain. I'll come back to the verse, but I want to explain a story here in few minutes. So what was happening here is Elijah had prayed that there will be no rain for a certain period of time. So when it was about time for the rain to come, because he had done everything that was needed for people to repent, for people to realize how sinful they were against God, and for people to bring back their hearts to God. So after all the events, Elijah had to bring back the rain that he had sent away from the people. So now after the contest at Mount Carmel, Elijah killed the false prophets of Baal who were causing people to worship a wrong God. So when they were killed, it was obvious that people now could straight away go back to their God. So now when everything was done, it is now time for the rain to come back. So we see King Ahab here and Elijah, the prophet. Elijah is telling Ahab, who is an adult, could he now please go eat and drink, for there is sound of abundance rain. So Elijah, so you mean you can actually hear the rain and Ahab remains standing? He can't hear the rain at his age. How possible is that? Elijah was not hearing the rain on the physical. Prophets are gifted in understanding things in the realm of the spirit. That's why they can tell you, good, you are going to die this day. It is because they get into the spiritual realm where everything is manufactured. That is why you see when Isaiah was prophesying about the birth of the Lord Jesus, he said, unto us a child is born. Isaiah is living in the days before the Lord Jesus is born, but is already prophesying that the Lord is already born, because he is traveling in the spirit. In the spiritual time, Jesus is already born, but in the physical, we are waiting for thousands of years. So you need to understand that there are things in the spirit. There are cars in the spirit. There are blessings in the spirit. There is everything that you need in the spirit. But you need to know how to transfer what you have in the spirit to the physical. So when you give, you create something, you create the capacity, you create the power, the energy, you create the ability, you create the capability, you create the possibilities, but in the spirit. There is nothing that you can give to God, there is nothing that you can give to your parents or to anybody that doesn't create something in the spirit. Never. That is why it said, give and it shall be given unto you. So most of you are missing the point, Kuti. Okay, if the Bible says give and it shall be given unto you, when am I going to be given? You are given straight the moment that you give. But most of these things and all of those things are planted in the spirit. So there are some other people who will still die having blessings in the spirit. So Elijah, when he is telling Ahab, to run away from the place because he is hearing the abundant sound of rain. It was not in the physical because the sky was clear. Even when he began to pray that the rain may come, you hear good, he prayed until a smaller cloud, which looked like the hand, came. So the man is hearing the abundance of rain. And Ahab is looking at the sky is very clear. Even when he began to pray for the rain, the Bible said when there was a cloud which looked like a hand, not a big cloud, a hand, it was something to be celebrated. So, man of God, why are you celebrating a smaller cloud which looks like a hand? When you heard abundant sound of rain, of which when the rain is coming, we can see by the clouds, there is no rain which can come without the cloud. But you are hearing the abundant sound of rain when the sky is clear. And when you are praying for the rain now, there comes a smaller cloud which looks like a hand. You celebrate victory. What are you talking about? So Elijah is hearing that there is rain in the spirit, but there is need for me to transfer it physically. How do you do it? Then the Bible says when Ahab went away with his chariot, Elijah went on top of the mountain and sent his servant to go and check by the ocean, by the sea. The Bible says Elijah put his head in between the legs. Whatever practice that he was doing there, he was trying to transfer the rain that he was hearing in the spirit to the physical. If you want to see it, you can see Kuti. The servant was sent to check the clouds physically. Yet Elijah was not checking anything physically. He was concentrating on putting his head in between the leg. So there were two things which were happening here. Elijah operating in the spirit and trying to divert things from the spirit to the physical, and his servant checking physically with what's happening now. In the first, he was sent, go and check, there was nothing. He went the second time, there was nothing. Then Elijah continued with his gesture, with his stature, whatever that he was doing. Then at the end of the day, you hear that the servant came for the last time. He said, now, I saw a smaller cloud coming from the sea, and it's rising, but it's a smaller one. It looks like a hand. Then Elijah said, it is done. From there, he had to run away from the place because he knew that the thing has been transferred from the spirit to the physical. So if you don't understand the principles of the spiritual world, you die thinking that God hasn't yet blessed you whilst you have the blessings. Even if Elijah was doing a spiritual work, he did it physically as well, because he had to put his head in between the legs. How painful is the practice? So no matter it's a spiritual thing, no matter you want to transfer it spiritually, you have to physically do something. Elijah, put your head in between the legs, even if it's painful, so long it brings forth results from the spirit to the physical. This is what is lacking on plenty Christians. They have things in the spirit, but they don't have physical practice which can transfer things from the spirit to the physical. I want to read a verse here. I want to show you something here. There is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 18. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 28 verse 12, it says, the Lord will open the heavens and the storehouse of his bounty. I want you to see here, there is number one, God opened heavens. And even if you look at it, even in the Bible, anytime the heavens were opened, they were opened spiritually. And when heaven is dispatching anything to this world, they come spiritually. Even when Jesus came to the world, he didn't come physically, he came spiritually. The Bible says an angel appeared to Maria and said to her, you shall become pregnant. Even if you are a virgin, you shall become pregnant. And your pregnancy shall be of the spirit. The spirit will get into your womb and materialize to become physical. So anything associated with the heaven starts from the spirit. So here, when Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 12 is saying, the Lord will open the heavens and the storehouse of his bounty to send the rain on your land in the season, to bless all of your work. You will lend to many nations, but not borrow from anybody. So this is the verse which says in the other version, the Lord will bless the work of your hands. So how does God bless the work of our hands? He opens the spiritual windows of heaven. So if you go back to the book of Malachi, he says, put me to test in the tithes and offerings, and see if I'm not going to open the windows of heaven, and I'll bring to you more blessings that you won't be able to contain. So every time that you have given your tithe, you have given your offering, you have done all those things, you have opened the windows of heaven. They are already opened in your life, but spiritually. Then your duty is to work. Because here, the Bible is saying the Lord will open the heavens and his storehouse of bounty. But what will come here is the rain. So if God releases the rain, it is your duty as a farmer to go and work. Make a mistake that God sends the rain from the spiritual world, and you make a mistake of sleeping in your house. You discover that nothing will happen in your life. You will suffer, but having the blessings of God. So Israel, when you have given your tithe, when you have given your offerings, when you have obeyed God, and when you see rain coming, it's coming as a blessing from the Lord. But when you do your farming, everything goes well, even without fertilizer. Have you ever seen, I was into farming sometime in my life. I've experienced, you have fertilizer, the rain is coming, blah, blah, blah. You apply everything, nothing is moving. You wonder what's the problem. You see people by your next door, they are making it because in the spirit it's not granted. So long the heaven is granted, and so long what makes the heaven grant you something is done, it means that you have it. So make sure that when God blesses you, when you have done enough of your givings, check your hand, check your hand, check your hand. Check your hand if you are now blessed. Because some of you, I've seen people like this. Like I've seen people who complain like they've given, then problem keeps on coming and nothing is moving. You know what? God is very clever. There are people who can spend 7 months of the year eating tithe, not giving offerings, not helping the poor, but the 2 months that they will give unto the Lord, they are expecting bamba harvest. God does not operate that way. God first builds trust in you. Not only trust, he first checks if you have understood what giving is. Are you just giving because you are a selfish person who want to receive and go? Remember, you are the same person who was eating your tithes and offerings all along. God must be sure about you. Will you continue to do it? So some of you, God doesn't even trust you. Because imagine you give tithe for the first time after 7 months. God gives you money. God gives you financial breakthrough. What about if you are going back to your system of not giving back to God? So God sometimes puts you on a level of testing you and to be sure about the person that he is working with. That is why sometimes it takes too long. You are giving, you are sacrificing, you are doing whatsoever. God will be looking at your history. Okay, this person with his history, I need to be sure if he have understood the teachings with giving is important for her or for him. So he takes time to build you up and build trust with you. Manje, our givers, they give today, tomorrow they want to be billionaires. Go all along when you were not giving your tithes, who was paying the rentals for your church? When you were not giving your offerings, who was buying electricity for your church? You were using everything for free. Now you have just done it for one day. You are looking like you've given a lot of things. God is very faithful. God is very faithful. Your basket is too empty. You need to fill up. Just continue what you are doing when the time is right. God will make it happen. Because what I know and what I understand about God, he can never eat anything from somebody for nothing. Whatever that he eats, he makes sure that he reimburses. Reimburse means he will give it back. So the Lord will open heavens and the storehouse of his bounty and send rain to your land, and he will bless the work of your hands, and you will lend to many nations. You will not borrow. But what are you doing? The rain has come. What are you doing? So what you do as a person, I want to show you what you must do. Number one, create a spiritual bank. Make sure that what creates a spiritual bank has been done. Just put me to test in your offerings and tithes. That is Malachi chapter 3 from verse 6 downwards, right? So your bank account is, these are like your clouds. You are creating clouds, like what they do when they see that the rain is not coming. They do what we call cloud seeding. They make sure that they create artificial clouds which can bring forth rain. They will invest their money in trying to make clouds. Do you see the planes going up the air there, creating clouds, creating the smoke and so forth, and after days you see the clouds coming. It's called cloud planting, and you see the rain coming down. But what caused the rain? It is because they invested in cloud planting. Even the clouds themselves, you know about evaporation. The water evaporates because of the sun. The sun beats up the soil and everything, and the evaporation happens, and the clouds are created and they fall down. So everything that comes from the clouds are invested from the ground as well. Now, when you have done all this, you need to be sure. Most of you are not yet blessed. God is still testing your patience, your faithfulness, and your loyalty. You need to test if your hand has now been blessed. Don't rush into big businesses. Don't rush into big investments. Some of you are not yet there. Put yourself to test. And when you are blessed, the blessings can shake you. You can see you are working somewhere. They are now calling you for other opportunities. You wonder, what can I do about this? Can I trust this one? You end up even asking pastors, with my pastor, should I go for this job? Should I go for this opportunity? I found somebody who is just telling me, there is somebody who is needed in UK, somebody needed in America, somebody needed in this country. Should I go for it? You'll be not knowing now with the blessings that you've been planting your seeds for are now shaking you. This is what happened to me. I myself, when I was called by God, the first thing that I mastered was giving. By that time, I didn't have a church. I didn't have any church on the ground. So what happened? There is my daughter that I always talk about. That's Rumbi, right? So Rumbi is the first person who said, I want to plant a seed when we were doing our things online. So I said, a seed. And what do I use a seed for? Like, in as much as I'm concerned, I have everything that I want. God is providing me money to pay my rent house, to buy my food. You know, I was too faithful. So I said, I don't think I need any seed as for now, because I don't have a ministry. So what I would do, I want to find somebody who is in need. So when I find somebody who is in need, instead of you sending me the money, I will look for somebody you send the money to her. So we looked for somebody. I'm sure there was another lady who was staying in Nyabira. I'm talking about Rumbi, who was the admin of Gia Maharare some few months ago, right? That's the one that I'm talking about. So I said, we can send that person. So whenever she wanted to seed, we could send to that person. And then sometimes we switched to other people. So it was me who is giving a seed that is supposed to be eaten by me to these people. So I was giving like nobody's business. I see somebody by the road, they are suffering, I give them. I remember there was another man of God whom I honor. He's called Prophet Keith, Pastor Keith in Vic Falls there. He used to have his ministry and I was following his group. He's a man who also helped me to understand my calling, discover myself. He gave prophecies about me, trying to tell me, no, you need to stop these things and so forth. I still honor, I give credit to that man. I ventured into his ministry, planted seeds about chairs. People ignore, you could see that people are ignoring him in the group when he's talking about let's buy chairs and so forth. I was on the forefront. Sometimes I was selling books, like when I was called by God, I was an author. So I had books that I was writing and selling. So people were buying online. So when people were buying online, I would use his number. Those who are in Zimbabwe, may you send your money to this number. When you send it to him, send me the confirmation now. You send me the confirmation. When you send me the confirmation, I'll send you the novels. I sent a lot of money. It was a lot by that time because I was not heavy. I planted my seeds. And when I was planting my seeds, I never saw any door opening. And I never checked how much am I giving. Then I found a job. I was working with my brother. When I was working with my brother, because, you know, my calling devastated me. It broke me into pieces. I was broke like nobody's business. So what I did, when I found this job, it was supplying me, it was giving me money for rentals and some food. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I survived with it. Then when as things were like that, I was still giving. I was still giving. But I saw myself having extra money, you know, extra money. I didn't even understand what was going on. Yes, I was receiving, you know, a small amount of money because I was not a qualified person in that job. My brother gave me that job so that I can survive. I was not even qualified. I was working with qualified people, but I was just working with them so that I can have something for my stomach. So as we were working, I had my brothers, my friends, whom I was working with. There was my friend Jimmy, there was Steven, and other guys who were part of the company. So whenever, I remember one of the days when I was with Steven, we were driving from work, and it was around 5 o'clock. Then I saw another person who was sleeping by the road. I said, I don't think this one is a person. So I wanted to tell Steven, can you stop and talk to this person? But I felt like I think I'm becoming too spiritual to see these things. Let me go home. And Steven drops me. The moment he drops me, I don't get into my house. I come back running and try to help the person. So Steven dropped me. The moment he dropped me, I came running back. And the man who was sleeping by the road, I never found him. I knew that I missed an encounter with an angel. I don't usually pass by people who are truly suffering, people who have terrible situations. I don't usually do. So when I realized, I made a fracas, I made a big mistake, I missed my blessing. I was supposed to feed this person. I was supposed to just make Steven stop, help the person. He see the love of God. I see how much I can help other people so that he can also have a heart to help other people. Then I said, no. There was another family by the top of the flat that I was staying at. There was a lady with about 3 kids. I said, okay, Father, I know that I did wrong, but I will give the money that I wanted to give this person. To this family, I will buy them food and give them the money, and I did so. They were shocked without how come? When I helped them, I was relieved, but I was not yet by the fact that I missed a spiritual encounter. I gave to any time. I remember, like when people began to send me their seeds, trying to help me in the ministry. Even when I was bought the phone by somebody I didn't even know, I was going to Joburg to collect money by Mukuru, because that's where there was Mukuru to collect money. God would tell me to go by the Mandela Bridge. There was a lady I was helping every time that I received money. I would help that lady. I would give her 20% of the money that I had, 10% differently. I was helping that lady. If there was any ministry which was operating, asking for money, I would just plant my seeds. I was making sure. So for me to see now that I am blessed, things began to just change. I began to have extra. I didn't understand what's going on with me. Money is just flowing into my life. People want to help me. People want to bless me. People want to buy my novels. People, money was just following after me. blessings were following me. They were pursuing me. Then I saw that money in my hands when I was growing up, even just time before my calling. When I used to have money in my hands, you would just lose it. You won't even understand how did you lose the money. You try to calculate how much did I use and how much am I left with. It was not even, you couldn't understand it. So now when I was working as an assistant. As an assistant like that, having professionals on top of me. I managed to buy my first car. The Mazda that you know, and the Mazda, I gave it away. I didn't sell it, I gave it away. So imagine, Guti, I started ministry going with the taxis. God blessed me with a car. And I didn't stop there. I went to a level of giving away a car. And some of you know the story. We don't want to get deep into it. But I just want to show you, why do I keep on speaking about these things? I did not give the car because of blessings or what. No, I gave the car because I had other ones, so I had to give. But I'm trying to show you that you can grow in your giving depending on how much you give on your level. On my suffering level, on my lowest level, I was giving what I had. And on my current level, I can even give out a car. Even if God is going to bless me with other cars, I'll still give cars. If God is going to bless me with houses, I'm going to give houses. So you need to be a very serial giver who doesn't even bow down when it comes to giving. Because the level that you give with is the level that you receive with. So I'm an assistant at work. My money at work is not even, I'm just paying my rentals, buy food, and that's all. But I managed to buy a car as I was working in there. How? My guy, when the blessings of the Lord overtakes you. And I was very faithful about money. I remember one day when I was with my friend Stephen, who was my senior, who was teaching me how to work at work. We went into ShopRite. So when we went into ShopRite, I wanted to collect, I don't know, is it 100 rands or whatsoever. But I was given, is it 1,000 or whatsoever. I was given a lot of money. Then I tried to check with her. But the money that I was sent and the money that this lady is giving me, did she make a mistake or what? Is she confused? So I went out, I said, Stephen, do you see what I'm seeing? He said, what? I said, I wanted 100 rands, but look at this woman that I'm having. He said, you're a champion, I don't trust you anymore. I said, no, we need to go back and give the lady the money. We went back, gave the lady the money. She was shocked. She said, this is the first time for me to see such kind of things. I knew, Kuti, when God is wanting to test, if he can make you successful, he tests you. So because of that 1,000, if I had taken it away, taken it with me, I wouldn't have been here because of 1,000. Some of you are failing to prove to God that you are honest in smaller things. You don't give your offerings well, you don't give your tithe well, you jump sometimes when you think you are suffering too much, when you think your money is small, you skip, you have some complaints, hey, God this and God that. And we were too faithful to an extent that when somebody sends you 100, you receive it as 1,000, you go back and give 900 back. Not really sure about the figure, but the money that I was given was too much as compared to the money that I was supposed to receive at ShopRite. That's when I realized, no, I think I'm now blessed. Everything that I'm touching is being turned into gold. I prayed for people like who were looking for financial breakthrough. Their things were changing. I realized, my hand is now blessed. Everything small that I'm trying is turning into big. So what you need to do when you are blessed, test your hand. Right now you are working, I know. Remember, when you are working, you are blessing the person that you are working for. Wherever you are working, wherever you are employed, rooms for God to manifest his blessings are limited. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 12 it says God will bless the work of your hands. So wherever you put your hands on, this is where your blessings manifest. And some of you, the blessings will even perish there. Because remember, we need to sacrifice repeatedly, because you can't tell me that if you give a car today, you keep on receiving cars for the rest of your life. No. Sacrifices expires. That is why you see that Elkanah and his wives used to go to Jerusalem repeatedly to sacrifice, to make their sacrifice. They continued to do it year by year, season by season, because they knew that blessings and sacrifices can expire. You can't give today and expect to be blessed the whole life. That is why you need to keep on giving. Some of you, your blessings are going to expire where you are working. That is why your bosses are blessed by your presence. They don't want you to go anywhere, but they don't want to increase your salaries. They know there is something special about your hand. There are some people who have golden hands that when they touch your things, there is an excellent spirit which follows them. It is because of the blessings that God gives to the people who give. So what you need to do, when you think that you have given enough, when you think that, I have done justice, test your hand. Start your own personal project which doesn't have anything to do with your boss. You can sell things online. How do you see that you are now blessed? When people flock for it, when people run for it, it's clear that you are blessed. But when you are still selling things and people are not running for it, it means that you need to improve your giving. You need to improve your standard. Maybe you are giving because God checks where it's coming from. Maybe you have given smaller than what you receive. That is why you see God was angry at Ananias and Sapphira, because Ananias and Sapphira, they said, we are going to sell our stand and give all of it to the apostles, and they share and distribute, and they sold it and came up with half. So when the Holy Spirit was angry at Ananias and Sapphira, it was about the measure. Why did you bring half when you were supposed to bring the full amount? So God sometimes see, yeah, you are giving, but you are giving peanuts. So you need to improve your giving. So test your hand. You can even plant vegetables wherever. Maybe some of you are at rural areas. You want to test that. Am I blessed? I've given my tithes, I've given my offerings, I've sacrificed, I've given seeds and so forth. Plant a vegetable garden. Buy a goat. Try to see, are the goats by few months going to increase? Some of you, because some other people right now, when you give them goats, even if they are fruitful, even if they are okay, even if they are not barren, they will begin to be barren because they are still in their hands. But a blessed person, once you give a goat into their name, they increase like nobody's business. That is why you see our parents, what they used to do when we were growing. They would give chickens to us. They will name them after us. This one belongs to this one, this one belongs to this one, this one belongs to this one, this one to this one. So they will be trying to check how much blessed are the kids. A kid who is blessed, when the chicken grows, it will lay eggs more than 30, more than 32. Not only laying eggs, when it's about time to break the eggs, the one who is blessed, they can break them all. They can break all the eggs. They can hatch all the eggs, 32. Or they can hatch 30, only 2 left. Then if you are not blessed, all of them, they will be rotten. They will never give anything. Or touch, or they will hatch 2, and the rest, they will be rotten. Because the person is not blessed. I remember my granny used to give me seeds to plant the pumpkin plants. Because pumpkin plants are very sensitive. If you are not blessed, they won't do anything. But myself, when I was growing, my granny used to give me, and it was clear. You could see my hand by how the plant could grow. So when you have given, when you have done anything, the blessings, if they are there, it's visible. But now the person is blessed. God has opened the windows of heaven upon a person. But when God has given you blessings, when your parents have given you blessings, when your church has given you blessings, you need to manifest the things from the spiritual realm to the physical. But the problem is, most of you are doing nothing. You are waiting for God to open doors automatically. Sometimes doors, they don't open for you. They knock for you to come and see us. And when you keep on waiting, you won't see there is an opportunity. Imagine, I want to show you something here. The reason why I keep on pushing people to have passports is this. There are plenty of people, like if we look at like people from Zimbabwe, things are not okay at home there. People need to move. People need to go around the world and look for greener pastures. Even if you are going to establish yourself there, it doesn't matter. Life is life. God wants to elevate some other people to go to UK, some other people to go to Dubai, some other people to go to England, and so to America and so forth. But imagine if the blessing comes, God opens opportunities, and you don't have a passport. There is no miracle which is going to happen. There is nothing that is going to happen. You are going to die in the country that you are in. Not because God did not open an opportunity, but it doesn't have any way to manifest. So the only thing that you will do, you will give you what to survive with. You eat, you drink, you have clothes, you take care of your family, but still on that level because you don't have a passport. So a person who is ready to be blessed will process whatsoever that God can manifest his blessings on. When you are blessed, you need to have a field where God can say, I can manifest the blessings through this one. I tested my blessings. Right now, if I want to start anything, I know that it will be successful. Well, I'm blessed. When you are blessed, you can see it. So tell me, what do you have for you? Number one thing, have you given enough? Have you done justice to create a good capacity in your bank account? Spiritual one. And number two, what do you have in your hands for God to manifest the blessings? Elijah had to put his head in between the legs, felt the pain, and sent his servant to check if physically things are happening, because already in the spirit he heard that it's there. I can hear the abundance of the sound of rain, but physically there is nothing. So I will do it physically. You're trying to take it from the spirit, but you go and check. So number one thing, do all these things and follow them properly. Some of you are starting by the front, neglecting the back. You are going for businesses when you don't have anything in the spirit. That is why you struggle with customers. You struggle with businesses. Your business don't move. I remember when I was working for my brother, when I was working with my brother, I could pay my rent before even month end. I sometimes paid my rent for 3 months. And I was bought a free phone that I was using for ministry. It was stolen when I was looking for the instruments to start a church. I saw the guy was caught by Nigerian guys, and the Indiana guys, they retained my phone. All because I was a tither, a seeder, a sacrificer. You see? Even, look at this, I want you to see this. When God wants to manifest his blessings on you, he needs something. That is why you see when he created Adam so that he can increase. But when it comes to time of increasing, what happened? God created Eve. Be fruitful and multiply. God can't say be fruitful and multiply when Adam is living with animals. So he creates for Adam a platform where he can be fruitful. Adam, that now Eve is there. It's now your duty to make sure that you do something on Eve. The seeds are in you, I have planted. I have granted it. So it's now your duty to touch Eve and see what you can do. So imagine Eve is around and Adam is relaxing. What is going to happen? Adam is fruitful, he has the seeds in him, and the land where he can produce his children on is there. But Adam, if you are not going to do action, if you pray, shimanda, and do whatsoever, you are not going to have Cain and Abel. So Adam, look at your wife. Remember, God said, be fruitful and multiply. So be fruitful and multiply. This is God depositing something in the spirit. So already in the spirit, you were granted the power to multiply, the power to be fruitful. But it's in the spirit. These are spoken words. If God did not say it, no matter how much you try to sleep with Eve, it's not going to happen. So in the spirit, you were granted. So make action. God has given you a land. which is Eve. So do something. Then Adam did his job. Eve became pregnant. Oh, 2 children. Then he said, this is my seed. By the help of God, I managed to bring out a human being like me. This is Eve speaking after she gave birth. So what are you doing? You must do something small. Hey, you are working. I really know that you are working. You are tied up. But there are some other things that you can see to test. Because when you test and you see those things blooming up, you can leave that job. But it is very dangerous. The very dangerous thing that people are doing, they give tithes 2 days, they give offerings 2 days, and a little bit of sacrifice. All the years that they were eating other people's rent, they were going to church for free, not even bothering about what. They don't even matter. Now they've given their tithes 2 months. They want to leave jobs because Apostle said. Have you tested your hand? Do an experiment. It's simple. You begin to sell something. You join a partnership with somebody. Let's try to do a business. You see how it goes. When if it's not going, there is something wrong about it. Leave it a moment. Because when you are now blessed, the blessings can shake you. Whilst you are at work, you can hear a lot of doors opening for you. People asking you, don't you want this? Don't you want to try this? Why are these things coming to me? You know, when I was at work, I was scared of coming out of it because I was saying, okay, what about if things go wrong when I leave the job? My brother said to me, you can't see that you are now busy. People are calling you even when you are at work, even yourself. The way you are in love with your phone, you can really see with this person. Why can't you just concentrate 100% on that? I said, I'm scared, I'm not really sure. Then God said to me, am I not making you pay your rentals even before month end? I said, yes. Are you not paying your rentals 3 months in advance? I said, yes. I left the job. When I left the job, I began to have more money than the one that I was having when I was working. Because I'm now blessed. And when I was blessed, I never stopped there. I kept on making it a culture to give. I supported my ministry. I paid the rentals for my ministry for I don't know how many months. When I was still riding taxis to go to church. And I was having people in that same ministry. But when you are blessed, you can really see the things are shaking you. They want to burst in you. This is what happens when you are blessed. You can really see, there are things which are happening around me. But the problem, our people give today, tomorrow they want to be billionaires. How can God trust such a person? Greed for money. Greed for 2 minutes success. But not faithful on simpler things. Even Moses, God said to Moses, I want to send you to free my people in Egypt. Go and tell Pharaoh this and that. Moses began to say a lot of things, blah, blah, blah. Hey, who am I? Hey, I stammer a lot. I can't speak properly, blah, blah, blah. God said to Moses, what do you have? He said, I have a stick. That same stick that Moses had in his hands, that same rod, was the one which performed miracles before Pharaoh. So when God is saying, what do you have? He is saying, when I'm working with a person, I want to work with something, at least a person who can say, I can do this. What do you have in your mind that God can manifest his blessings on? Some of you have given. Now begin to think about how you can make up your papers to go overseas. When you are truly blessed, everything that is not possible becomes possible. The papers which are difficult to attain, they become possible. People who don't want to give you or support you with money, they'll begin to do it. They'll be propelled and pushed by God. The destiny helpers who don't even exist, they'll begin to exist when you are blessed. Just go for it and test. Right now, if we look at some of you, your capacity just to raise money for passport is not even there. But you don't know within the spirit. The moment you think about it, God will begin to make a provision. You'll be shocked that one day your boss will say, okay, I just want to give you money for cold drink. Then she gives you 4,000. You wonder how? And now in your mind you are telling me it can't be possible the way my boss is stingy. He is stingy because you're not yet blessed. When you are blessed, the stingy people become serial givers and help helpful people become serious helpers. You don't know that Moses was taken care by Pharaoh. Pharaoh is the one who said all the children who were born by the time of Moses must be killed. But Moses survived in the house of Pharaoh, not in the land. He was taken by the daughter of Pharaoh into the house of Pharaoh, who is killing other children like Moses. When you are blessed, other people were killed. Other children were killed. But Moses survived because his sister took him to the river. When he was at the river, the daughter of Pharaoh was by the river. He saw a baby. When she saw a baby, she said, this baby is cute. Let me look for one who can nurse this baby for me. And the sister of Moses was near the river. She was cold, and she said, no, I can help you because this is this baby is of my culture, from my people. And the sister of Moses began to take care of Moses in the house of Pharaoh. Pharaoh is killing other babies. So when you are blessed, the impossible becomes possible. When God has not yet opened the doors of possibilities, relax and continue giving. But when you are blessed, you don't need to relax. Some of you are sitting on the blessings. The only thing that you are thinking is promotion. And what? Promotion. And what? God is saying, no, I want something that you do on your own. Because most of the promotions that are coming nowadays, they are coming in the name, but no money. Because you can't tell me that you are promoted when your payment is increased with 2,000. We need serious money. Because we need to become billionaires and millionaires. We need serious money, ladies and gentlemen. Some other promotions which you are being given at work, this is the devil trying to blindfold you. You can actually make 10,000 a day when God blesses you. You can actually make 20,000 a day when God blesses you. But the devil is want to blind you. The devil want to blind you with the 2,000 increment that you are given by your boss so that you can relax. Make sure that you start something aside and see how prosperous it becomes. When God blesses you, you can really see what now my job is making me busy to an extent that I can't concentrate with my growing up business. People are looking for me everywhere and I'll be at work. So I need to leave this job, concentrate on my work. You see? Even Abraham was told by God, please, can you come out of the land of your parents and out of your people and go to the land that I'll show you. When you go there, I'll bless you. And when time went on, you hear that Abraham had plenty sheep, goats, and so forth. So the blessings of God that he had said were now manifesting in the form of sheep and goats. So Abraham, if you don't concentrate on something, the substance, you discover that you'll be blessed in the spirit as God promised, but physically there is nothing. So Abraham concentrated on sheep. Some of you need to even concentrate on sheep, goats. You buy goats, you send your mothers to at home. Like here, like in goats, you can hear that they are about $30 in Zimbabwe. There, $30. It's how much? Less than 1,000 rand. You can buy one goat. Next month you buy another one, a male. Your mother will begin to take care of your goats because you are blessed. Those thieves who steal goats, they won't even steal. By the end of the year, you will be having plenty goats. Whilst you are here in South Africa, when you go to Zimbabwe, you don't even need to look for meat. You kill one goat. Some of you can buy cows looking at your capacity. Some of you can even think about selling cars looking at your capacity. But the people don't even think about that. They are limited to working, yet they are blessed. What are you doing? How can God manifest his blessings? Because churches have been eating your tithes and offerings for a long time. Pastors have been eating your seeds. And what are you doing on your capacity? This is what we need to know. Some of you have been chased at work a lot of time. You work here, you are chased. You work here, you are chased. You are not thinking that you are chased. God doesn't want to use your blessings on some people. He knows that you are bigger than them. So go and look for something to do. Start as small and test your hand. When you see that your hand is blessed, grow. When you grow, move out of that work that you are doing. They are using your blessings. Go and start your own thing. What I'm telling you, if God opens the doors, even you see, there is a story in the book of Luke chapter 5, verse 4 to 11. You know, Peter and his crew, they'd spent the whole night fishing, trying to fish, and so forth. The Bible says they never found anything. Then Jesus came and he said to them, okay, let's go back and do some fishings. And Peter was like, no, Lord, we have been doing this the whole night. We never caught anything. Jesus said, don't worry, let's go with me. And Jesus told them what to do, cast your nets deeper. And they casted their nets. They were amazed. The same ocean, the same river, the same whatsoever, the same source, the same water. Which they tried the whole night. Jesus gave them an advice, and they did catch a lot of fish to an extent that the net was about to break. Why? Because he had granted them. With heaven, nothing is impossible. Even the fish which is running away, it comes. So Peter, don't tell me about your experience at night. It's an experience without a command from the Spirit. Once the Spirit said it, even the closed doors will open. Peter, so it means if you try to do it on your own without heavens to open, this is somebody going for a business without blessings, without the windows of heavens being opened into your life. Even in Matthew chapter 17, verse 21, we see an interesting story. When Jesus and Peter were in the temple, now temple taxes wanted, Jesus tells Peter to go and fish. When you go and fish, the first fish that you catch, you open it, you find coins there. Peter goes, he is amazed, he casts his hook, he takes the fish, found the man that Jesus is talking about is there. What's happening here? Peter, if you want to see this is a miracle, go and try to do it after and say, no, Jesus told me to do it and I did it and I found it. Let me go again. You won't find anything. Because when the heavens allows it, it's very possible. So I'm talking to the children of Giam and every follower of the apostle here. You need to do something. What do you have in your hands? What do you have in your mind? What are you selling? What are you doing? Some of you what you have is the land and the water. Why can't you try a garden? Some of you have big land and you are doing nothing. You can just prepare your land, you put manure, you pray, Father, may you bless my hands. You find your vegetables growing, you sell. Some of you have places, you can't even just, you go to work, it's okay, I understand it, but you can't do chickens, broilers, you can't do eggs, road runners, you can't do even, you can do a lot of things that you can do with your hands. Only if the hands are blessed, you can do anything. What people would think, I will come up with part 3, which will be the last one. I'll be giving people hints about businesses, how you can do it, how you can start over, how you can acquire money, how you can save, how you can do. In that chapter, I'll sum up everything. If people are not going to be rich, it's up to them. So look for part 1. You need to listen to it because part 1 is important. You can't listen to this and prosper without listening to part 1, because part 1 is the one which tells you how to create the capacity properly. Because you can't say, with this one I'm okay, when you missed more than 1 hour before. Never. Things don't operate that way. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our part 2 business lecture. I am hoping to create a generation of people who are ready to be rich. Listen to this, practice this. Make sure that by the end of this year, you have something that you do with your hands. Don't allow people to abuse your blessings. Don't allow people to abuse your hands. Some of the jobs that you are doing, some of the work that you are employed in are not good for you. Your hands are too blessed for that. So please, if you are listening to me, find a way to manifest your blessings. May you kindly follow our page on Facebook, which is Apostle Sean Giam Ministry. Apostle Sean Giam Ministry. The Sean is S-E-A-N. Giam is J-I-A-M. Apostle, you know how to write Apostle. So it's Apostle Sean, which is S-E-A-N. Giam is J-I-A-M. Then Ministry. You can follow our page there for updates and so forth, or search for us Giam Ministries on YouTube. May the Lord bless you. I'm signing out. My name is Apostle Sean. Thank you.